Hello everyone, welcome to Just Academy. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you some of the very important nodes or things in Katana. So basically, these are the core concepts that we will use every day in our work if you're a lighting or look dev artist. So if you're working Katana in production, so these are really a lifesaver topics that I'm going to talk today. So yeah, I've already prepared some of the scenes here because I don't want to waste your time in creating and making all the connections here. So yeah, I've already made some scene here for you guys, and I'll just explain through this examples, and so wherever it is necessary to show you the creation process and the connection process of these nodes, I will explain the stuffs there. So I'll show you how to create important nodes and how to make the connections if it is definitely necessary. So yeah, let's start it. So first we have some example for group nodes in Katana. So basically group nodes in Katana is really a lifesaver, and the group nodes are really helpful in terms of organizing your scene and in terms of remove the visual clutter in your node graph. So basically node graph is the core part of your Katana, so in workflow. So when we are working on multiple shots and multiple assets in look dev, so sometimes we will work on a huge node graph networks. So by that time, using group nodes will help you to organize your scenes. So basically we have three different types of group nodes available in Katana for us. One is the group, and the other one is group merge, and the final one is group stack. So basically the group node is actually, it is just like a box. You can just put any kind of node and any number of nodes you can put inside that group, and it is just like a container, and so it will hold your all the nodes into this. So let's say, so this is a group node. So if I if I expand this group, like if you press this plus button, and it will expand and it will show you the content that are inside this group node. So I have already imported some assets using the Alembic in nodes, and I merged the assets, and I've created a primitive create for plane, and so I merged the scene here. So basically you can see we have a lot of things here. So if I don't use the group nodes, basically the size of the node graph for these nodes are really big, and it is a bit hard to handle the things with all this kind of stuffs, so that I use group nodes. So basically you can see when you press this button, this pop-up window helps us to see things inside the group, and you can see this line helps us to find out what group node we have expanded, and you can just minimize this using this minus button, and you can expand it like this. If you want, you can maximize using the plus button here, and if you want to go back, you have to use the back button. And if you want to go to the root, so basically you need to press this home button, and it will take you directly to the home, and you still have this window. So if you don't want to open this window here, and if you want to dive directly into your group node, you can just press Ctrl and middle mouse on top of your group node, so it will directly take you into your group node, and you can work here. And I'm just going to minimize this, and I'll explain in a bit. So basically this is your group node, and so you can create any nodes, like you have to hover your mouse on top of your group node, and you can press tab and type and create any node that you want. And once you select the node that you want, you can see now we have our group node has our import-o-matic, and I'm going to create a merge node here, and oops. So, and one more important thing when it comes to group is, as you can see here, so when I zoom in the scene to a certain level, my group node is appear here, and okay, so this is a bit hard because we placed our nodes like this, so sometimes it happens. So basically the group nodes floating window automatically updates the size of the floating window, so sometimes it becomes some issues in our node graph. So by that time, so you need to make sure your nodes are aligned. So yeah, so if you keep this like this, so everything will be perfect. So as you can see here, when you zoom in to a certain level, our group nodes floating window is visible, and when you zoom out to a certain level, it actually disappears. So it helps us to reduce the scene clutter, the node graph clutter in Katana. So yeah, so you can just zoom in and zoom out to view the group node here. So yeah, let's minimize this here, and so basically you can press tab and create like this. And if you want a group node to be, if you have a node outside your group node and if you want to put it into that, so basically what you have to do is, so you can just keep things like this, and you can press shift and middle mouse, drag and drop into your group nodes floating window. So now it is now part of your group node. So you can create nested group nodes, like you can create a group node inside your group node, and from here also you can create another group node into this. So there's no it's actually infinite thing. So yeah, so that's it for the group. Oh yeah, actually I forgot one thing. So basically in group node you can create multiple input and output connections. So as you can see here, at this moment we have only one output connections and we don't have any input connections here. So basically if you have an importomatic here, and if you press G to make this a group node, so you can see it directly create a group node from the node that you selected. But if you want, let's create a merge node here, and so I'll create a dot. I'll press dot to have this little dot here, and I create another dot here, and I will connect it here. And if you press the in between merge node and create a group here, by pressing G, and if you dive inside this, you can see we have the inputs and outputs here. So now you can delete these dots and your input and outputs will be stay as it is. So if you want to create inputs in already created group nodes, so basically you need to create so we have this thing. So I'll just create a dot here, maybe. Oops, it is a bit sensitive thing, so we need to actually properly select this. So yeah, so I'll create a importomatic here. So I'll just make the things a bit bigger to select everything. So I'll just select this output, and I'll take this arrow to the node graph and press star here. As you can see here, now we have two different oops, it doesn't create, sorry. So we have already connections for this, so it doesn't work that way. So let's use this one now. So press dot here. So now you can see here, so we have two different outputs here the same way if you want. So I will disconnect this one, and let's try creating a new input here. Pressing like this, you can see now we have two different inputs and two different outputs. So yeah, you can even rename your inputs and outputs. So basically I'll minimize this, and you can see we have right click, and if you want you can delete the port and you can rename this like input 2 to see what output actually defines what. So I'm just going to delete these ports like this. So yeah, that's it for the group nodes, and we have the group merge here. So basically I'll show you what is the scene is. So if I resolve the scene graph from here, and let's go to the scene graph, and let's view everything from this point. Yeah, so as you can see here, this is my scene. So I have imported all these assets. So basically these assets are from Animal Logic's A-Lab sets. So that's open source scene, that USD scene. You can use it for your personal projects and things like that. So yeah, so I grabbed these assets from the A-Lab sets. So yeah, so here is my importomatic. So all the assets are imported at this point, and yeah, So we have the group merge here, so I have created the camera here, so basically, and we have the group stack, and I have created the transform node here, so I'll explain in a minute. So I have created another group stack, and I have created the viewer object settings that defines the color of each objects. So basically, let's explain about the group merge here. So basically, we have seen the group. The group merge is like if you wanna create, like, so we have the camera create here. Let's assume that we have multiple camera creates here. So I'm just going to copy this several times. So, and let's select everything and press M. So it will create a merge node for us. So the next time if you want to create another camera here, so you need to press camera create here, and you need to actually select this output and connect it into this merge nodes input, and now it will be available in the scene graph. So instead of having this kind of approach, basically the group nodes helps us doing the same thing. So if I press control and middle mouse, so you can see here we have the merge node and we have the camera already there. So now all you have to do is basically you need to keep your keep the contents of your merge node to be same. So if you want to create a group merge node to be a camera based, so you need to create only the cameras inside this. You can't create any other node. Basically now you can see here we have the camera nodes here. By pressing this add button, you can have multiple cameras, another camera created here. So basically it's a default one, so with the default settings, but if you want you can just right click and you can duplicate this. You can see here we have multiple options here, like disable and view scene graph, and you can color code your nodes here. Let me show you how you can create a group merge node from scratch. So let's say we have basically the group merge is like, so if you don't have an input to your node, you can create a group merge node out of it. So basically I'm just going to delete everything and I'll explain this. So I'm going to have an importomatic here. So basically importomatic doesn't have a input to it, it just have an output to it. So basically I'm just going to group merge node in this. So all you have to do is you need to press shift and middle mouse and you need to drag and drop here. Basically it doesn't accept this at this moment because we are still in the group merge node of our cameras. So basically if you already create a group merge node out of a particular node, so you cannot place any other nodes into this. In this case I'm just going to select this group merge node. It doesn't have anything at this moment. I'm just going to press shift and middle mouse, just drag and drop this here, as you can see here. So you have our importomatic here. So the next time when you press this little button here, so it will automatically create your importomatics here. So it will, if you want, you can just right click and duplicate, and it will still say save all of your settings here. So I'm just going to undo this certain times, and I'm just going to dive into this, and you can see we have empty stack here. And the moment I drag and drop, shift and drag and drop, middle mouse drag and drop my importomatic, and if I dive into this, you can see we have automatically created a merge node and an importomatic into this. The next time when I start clicking this button, so you can see we have new importomatic nodes created automatically. So this really saves a lot of our times. So the same way the group stack node is. So basically if you have your nodes have inputs and outputs, like if you want if you have a stack of same kind of nodes, same type of nodes, basically you can manage this, use a group stack. Let's say if I want to create a collection create node, so basically this is my collection create node. So the same way we created with group merge, I'm going to shift and drag and drop our collection create here, and you can see here it actually now became a collection create stack. So now if I create now if I press this plus button, so it automatically creates a new collection create nodes here. And the same way actually the collection create, so if I place this collection create node into my group merge node, it doesn't actually accept. So yeah, actually it accepts here. It's my bad. So basically it will work like this because it has inputs and outputs. So basically if you have outputs, so it will just merge like this. So it's a bit of confusing things, but once you started working on this, so it will just work fine. But you can't actually place a node that doesn't have any input to it into a group stack. Let's say in this case I'm just going to create a importomatic stack here. So now I've enabled my group stack for editing here, and if I drag and drop my importomatic here, so it actually complains because the group node must have at least one input and one output port, so then only the group stack works. But group merge is not like that. So any type of node can work with the group merge, but group stack should have at least one input and one output, so that it can create stack out of it. So yeah, so I'll just delete this, guys, and I'm just going to show you how to create a collection create stack. Or you can just shift and middle mouse drag and drop. So now it became a collection create stack, and now you can create a stack out of it. So basically you can create multiple ways. You have multiple ways to create collection, a group stack. So basically if you have a node like material, so you can just press Alt and G, so it will automatically create a group stack, and it will automatically put your the node that you have selected into that stack, and it will make the scene ready for you. So if you middle mouse and dive into the collection the group stack, so you can see this is how it actually manages node graph. So when you create multiple things here, so it will automatically add the nodes that we want here. So this is really helpful. Okay, so let's delete everything and let's focus on our example. So I'll just explain again. So we have our group node, and it contains our assets in and nodes of our assets in here, and we have the group merge. So I have the camera available here. So from this point we have our assets and our cameras available in the scene graph. So now I have created a group stack that has transform 3D nodes, and now I have created a transform node for each and every assets. And now if I select any node and click this manipulator, so you can move your asset. You need to select it, the group that you have assigned in your transform node, you must select that level in the scene graph so that you can actually transform here. And yeah, so we have the transform 3D nodes here. The way you need to create a new one and assign is, so basically I have this one, and I'm just going to grab the ground here, and you can just connect the ground to the path. And now if I select the ground, and as you can see here, we don't have the move tool available for us, because actually the transform node comes with the make interactive is no, so you need to make sure it is yes, so that you can see your move handle, and you can translate the stuffs here. So yeah, and we have another group stack here that has our viewer object settings. So I'm just going to create a new one for our ground, and in this case, so I'm just going to let's remove this statement from this, and let's assign this one here. And in the draw options, you can change the color as you want. So yeah, so actually this is how I created this scene. So when you're working on big sets, so it really, this kind of a workflow help you a lot. So yeah, that's it for the group nodes.